And we're back, and my dad brought his bulldog over for me to babysit, so hopefully he behaves himself. Last time, when my Five Nights at Freddy's playthrough, he was scratching at my door, so hopefully he's a good boy. You gonna be good? Yeah, you sleep. The old garage was built in a hidden part of the school grounds.
誰かが使っている様子はなく、誰からも見向きもされていない。何か面白いものがあるかもと、こっそり中に忍び込んでみた。初めてあれを見た時は、なんか変なものがあるなって程度で、大して興味もなかった。それが180度変わったのは、あの写真を見つけてから。一冊のノートに大事に挟んであったそれは、とても綺麗な雲の写真。こんな美しい空があってもいいの？ってくらいグレートな空。けど、なんか変だ。なんでだろう、この写真。あ、わかった。そう、その写真は雲の上から撮影されていたのだ。挟んであったノートのページにはこう書かれてあった。なんという幸運だろう。我々は風ヶ浦に突如出現したモーニンググローリーを偶然にも飛ぶことができた。それはもう奇跡と言ってもいい素晴らしい体験だった。モーニンググローリー？飛んだ？そのノート、高校日誌を読み進めるうちに、僕はどんどんのめり込んでいった。雲の写真はこのガレージを使っていた人たちがグライダーという飛行機に乗って空の上から撮影したもので、そのグライダーにはエンジンはついてなくて、風に乗って雲の上まで飛ぶんだという。
Wait a minute, I forgot to turn my fan off.
一体どんな気分だろう、風に乗って空を飛ぶのは。あの美しい雲の回廊を渡るのは。そうして思いを巡らせた時、もう僕の心は決まっていた。そこに打ち捨てられたグライダーを修復し、雲の彼方を目指そうと。次の日、僕は早速そのグレートな計画を親友に打ち明けた。
日も暮れてきたし、今日はこの辺にしときますか。
Okay, I said that as I was taking a break after returning from a flight. Yeah, we can go one more time, can't we? We still have a bit of time before the sun completely sets.
この辺り街灯なんてないし、日が落ちる前でもかなり暗くなるよ。そしたら着陸の時危ないじゃん。
She's right. Just now when we came back, it was hard to see the runway and my depth of perception was messed up.
というわけで、今日はもうおしまい。
Wait, your what? Your depth of perception? I've never heard that term.
小鳥、撤収するよ。
Okay, I called Coltily on her cell phone, and currently Coltily is by the winch.
今日はもう終わりか。
Yeah, though the perfect win for training has just started blowing.
しょうがない。事故を起こすわけにはいかないからな。
Amane looks towards the eastern sky as she speaks. There is always the same orange glow of sunset. Looks like the sign didn't appear again. The sky indicated that nothing would happen the following morning. I watched her from the side while she looked to the sky, and her face seemed filled with impatience. Since the winch came back, we've been doing as many test flights as possible every day. There are adjustments to be made to the glider, but the main objective is for Amane and I to do flight training.
今日かなり高くまで上がってたね。どのくらい行った？
Around 600 meters.
ほう、記録更新だね。だいぶつかめてきたんじゃない？
Yeah, but it's still hard to ride the thermals. Thermals are vertical jets formed by air heated by the Earth's surface. They occur more easily in areas where the temperature above the ground rises easily, like soil or asphalt. By catching these thermals, we can fly higher to higher altitudes. Another thing we're chasing is the wind, which is invisible. It's not easy to catch. After riding it well, the wind is unpredictable, the wind's flow and strength is not stable, it may disappear at a moment's notice. But if we don't get good at riding it, we won't be able to fly high enough to reach the Passage of Clouds. I like how early in the game they all call the Passage of Cloud, now it's Clouds. Amine looks down with a blank expression and, without even attempting to eat it, plays with her pasta with her fork. Don't like it?
ああ、いや、そうじゃないんだ。ちょっと考え事をしてただけだ。
She gave a faint smile and prodded her pasta, looked towards Ageho and shrugged. Kotoyo was next to Amine, absorbed in reading the book that she had borrowed from the library. Why don't you do that after you finish eating? It's no good she's not listening. Kotori for a long time has been finding out about Morning Glory. Since we started the test flights, Kotori, being disabled, has had nothing to do except operate the winch. That's why she seems to be thinking I'm useless. She was really involved in the construction of the main wings too, so that's not true at all. But because of this we found out about something important. A few days ago, after the farewell party.
オーストラリアのバークタウンで起こる気象現象について書いてあるわね。
He translated from the book written in English after being pestered by Kotori. It's a book about Morning Glory. According to this, the clouds that appear above Australia can have a total length of approximately 1,000 kilometers. It's not just one cloud that appears, it can be many at the same time. When the sun comes up, the temperature increases and the clouds disappear. There's only about 2 hours before that happens. For the local people, this is a sign of rain, and raging winds blow beneath the clouds. The altitude of the clouds is about 1 or 2 kilometers. If you can ride the vertical jets well, it is possible to reach those altitudes.
海風と陸風が衝突してできる前線が発生の原因なんですって。夜になると気流が冷えて下降し、逆転層が。
You talk so slow.
メカニズムが分かれば予想は立てやすくなるけど、風が浦とオーストラリアじゃ地形も気象も違いすぎるわね。もっとこう分かりやすい前兆とかないのかしら。ここにそれらしいことが書いてあるわ。
He translates as she reads.
そこから湿った強い風が吹き、夕暮れ時東の空が紫色になる。パブの冷蔵庫に水滴ができたら翌日起こるんですって。この辺りにパブってあったかしら。
Calm down, this is talking about Australia.
気温が低く湿度が高い早朝に発生することが多いですって。
気温が低く湿度は高く、前日の夕方東の空が紫色にか。ちょっと待って。
Kotori excitedly opens a page in the old notebook. It's a flight log written by one of the old members.
ほら、ここ見て。
Kotori opened it to the page that explained the signs that were seen on the day the photograph was taken. In other words, the day that the Morning Glory had occurred. Seems that they did a test on that day, and there was detailed information on the weather conditions written in the flight log.
テストをした16時頃の気温は23度。真夏の日中にしちゃ随分低いわね。
その後、日暮れから強い風が吹いて肌寒いくらいだったって書いてあるわ。
This was written in the remarks column. They went to the effort of writing it, so that must mean there was quite a big change in air temperature. As for the color of the sky, it doesn't say. The important thing is, the log was written without the knowledge that today Morning Glory will occur. They wrote this without realizing that this was a sign of the morning glory.
これはかなりのヒントなんじゃない？
ありがとう、お姉ちゃん。どういたしまして。
Since then, Kotori has been checking the weather forecast every night and reading books about weather like she's trying to become a weather forecaster or something. So the 3 signs that indicate the coming of a morning glory are as follows. 1. The day before, a warm, strong wind blows and the temperature is high enough to cause water droplets to appear on a fridge in a pub. 2. At dusk on the day before, the eastern sky is purple. 3. It's much colder than most summer days. Perhaps this information isn't just nonsense and this is all we had to go on.
ねえ葵、今日の当番って誰だっけ？
I'm not sure. Every day we'd taken turns to wake up before dawn to see whether or not those clouds have appeared. Even if there are no signs the day before. Whose turn is it today? I guess it's Kotalie's turn. I guess it's... I mean, I'm gonna save here because I'm gonna be loading this back up at some point. Yeah. I guess it's Kotalie's turn. Isn't that Kotalie? Kotalie lifts her head as I say that.
うん、そうよ。
Well, then I'd better quickly have a bath and go to bed. If the morning glory does come, we have to fly right away. That's why we covered a glider on the runway and just... That's why we covered the glider on the runway and just covered it up with a sheet. Even if it doesn't occur, we can still start doing test flights from early in the morning. It's a little rough, but it doesn't look like it's going to rain, so there isn't much we can do. Now the neighbor's dog is barking. Awesome. There's no way we can let this 1 in a million chance pass us by. Arf. I opened my eyes. I don't think he actually said that. I think that's supposed to be like a thought. I close my eyes and roll over in bed, but it doesn't feel like my sleepiness is coming back. I sit up and open the curtains. The sky is still dark. I can see the stars twinkling. Take a look outside and I see Kotalie staring up at the sky in the middle of the garden. How is it?
葵くん。何もなさそう。
I see. Take a look at the sky. All I can see is the shining stars with no sign of the clouds we were looking for. It was quiet. So quiet that it feels like we can hear the stars twinkling.
来ると思う？
I don't know. Maybe.
来てくれたら最高の夏休みになるのに。
Yeah. But even if it were not to happen, it would still be the best summer holiday ever for me. Summer holidays are always fun, but this was so fun it could be the best ever.
私もこんな気分になるのは久しぶり。夏休みが終わるのが寂しい。
Sad to think that summer holidays will be over. Is there anybody who doesn't feel like that? Kotalie shakes her head.
足を怪我してからずっと私にとって夏休みの終わりは新学期の始まりだった。また嫌でしょうがない学校が始まっちゃう。だから終わってほしくなかった。ただそれだけ。けど今は違うの。夏休みが楽しいから楽しすぎて終わってほしくない。
Summer will come again, as long as you're alive, dozens times more. A dozen times more. But this year, the best summer holiday ever will only happen once. It's not good, is it? Something to be so fun. I think I'm gonna be burned out in the second term. As I speak, Kotalie giggles.
私ね、いつかのこと自分の友達みたいに思ってたの。
Your friend? Kotalie nods her head, looking quite embarrassed.
いつかが高校日誌にいつかここからいなくなるって書いてたの覚えてる？
Yeah, I remember. The same kind of thing was written several times.
私ね、あれを読んで自分のことみたいに思ってた。私も同じように感じてたから、いつか自分はここを去るんだって。
Kotalie, who was disabled and didn't really fit into the class, was seriously thinking about quitting school around the time I came to the dormitory. For a long time, she felt like she had to get out of there, and she felt the same thing when reading Ska's flight log. So you copied her by making that list. The things I want to do list that Isuka wrote is something she something she pursue herself. She pursued herself.
あの頃私友達なんて一人もいなかったから、イスカの日記を読んで彼女を友達みたいに思って、それで寂しさを紛らわせてたの。今思うとバカみたいよね。
What a loser. That's not true. Because you felt like that we're here now.
だから私、あまねちゃんとはまた別でイスカの夢を叶えられたらって思ってる。友達として。
Really? I also have special feelings about Iska. She is Amane's best friend, and she left the glider behind for us. Also, now I know that to Kotori, who was once so lonely, she was like an invisible friend. To Amane, Kotori, and I, Iska's beloved friend. And so I feel like I owe a lot to Iska.
恥ずかしいこと告白しちゃった。
Then why do you look so happy?
なんでだろう。葵くんにはつい話しちゃうんだよね。
Isn't that because we're close friends? Said as a joke, but Kotori, who's sitting in her wheelchair, looks downwards.
そうかも。
Gross. She looks kind of awkward and embarrassed, but she happily accepted me using the phrase close friend.
私がまだここにいて、こうして素敵な夏を過ごせてるのは全部葵くんのおかげ。ありがとう。
Sure. I meekly replied, but inside I answered, that's my line. If it weren't for Kotori, I would never have come into contact with Glider. Even if I had come across it, it wouldn't have even if I had come across it, it wouldn't have as much fun. What? It's done. The eastern sky is a kind of hazy brightness. Shall we get breakfast ready? Everyone will be getting up soon. Then another busy day will begin. Okay, I need to go turn off my fan.
お腹すいた。
Alrighty.
みんなまだ帰ってきてないのか。頑張るな。冷蔵庫になんかないかな。チッス、ハット先輩。どうしたの？あんたもお腹すいた？餌じゃないのか。じゃあ水浴び？そっかそっか。今日は涼しいね。これなら下着じゃなくても平気だわ。はいはい、水浴びね。いっくよー。気持ちよさそうでいいね。私も後でシャワー浴びよっと。ハット先輩、なんだろうあれ。ほら、なんか空が。うっすら紫色してない？
The direction is...
東よ。ってことは
The eastern sky was bluish purple. We were tidying up after finishing flight training for the day, but we stopped working to gaze at the eastern sky.
予兆なのかな。
This was the moment we've been waiting for, but we were careful not to get our hopes up yet. Oh, we don't know, but until now, it hasn't been that color.
さあどうだろう。注意して見てたことないもん。気温は25度。昨日より3度低いわ。湿度はやや高め。風も出てきてる。これはもしかするかも。
We all look towards Amane. Amane looks at the eastern sky. She was just standing there quietly, while looking at the signs that indicated that the phenomenon could occur. She seemed to be assessing the situation. Or maybe she was praying.
Amane-chan!
Might occur tomorrow morning. There are 2 days left of the summer holidays. This was the time limit for Amane's activities at the soaring club.
Senpai?
I'm sure she's gonna end up staying somehow, some way or another.
分かってる。うん。大丈夫だ。
Gave Totally a prod and spoke quietly to her. Second in charge to take care of occasions like this.
そうだった。おほん。みんな聞いて。モーニンググローリーは明日の朝必ず現れる。そう信じましょう。だから今夜は当番関係なく全員夜明け前に起きてフライトの準備をするわよ。ああ。
It's 4 a.m. Don't make too much noise. Kaneko is still sleeping.
了解。了解。ああ。
Totally.
ごめん。
We got up at the usual time for people whose turn it is to watch the dawn sky and carry their things outside the dormitory. There's still 1 hour before the morning sun rises. We have to complete our launch preparations before then.
随分と冷えるわね。
Yeah, maybe you should dress up a bit more.
薄着だとちょっと肌寒いくらいね。
You're like wearing your sleeping wear. Amane, will you be alright in those clothes?
うん。大丈夫だ。ビシッとしてよね、あまねちゃん。これから雲の上まで飛ぶんだから。
Koto, you're speaking really loudly. Okay, how's this guy?
よくわかんない。
The sky was covered in darkness, and it was impossible to see with the naked eye whether or not there were any clouds. Anyway, let's hurry. If we hang about for too long, we won't make it in time for dawn. Stupid backrest. We reached the runway and immediately began work on the assembly. Right aileron.
オッケー。
Left aileron.
問題なし。
Next is the elevator. While this is going on, I ate a rice ball that I had made the night before. I'll do something about my empty stomach.
あまねちゃん、さっきからどうしちゃったの？すまない。別に何でもないんだ。大丈夫よ。きっとうまくいくから。はい、おにぎり食べて元気出して。ありがとう。葵、いけそう？
Oh no, in the training I finally figured out how to catch the thermals. The highest we've flown in training has been 600 meters. We won't be able to reach the morning glory at altitudes like that. Suddenly a strong wind blows.
葵くん、だいぶブレーキを出してくれ。
Got it. When the glider is on the ground, lift will be created if wind hits the main wings. With the winds this strong, if we're careless, the aircraft might start floating upwards. That's why we make use of the equipment used to reduce lift during landing. If the lift is at a low level, it will be okay even if the wind hits it.
急に風が出てきたわね。モーニンググローリーの影響かしら。
It said in the book that when this occurred in Burton, Australia, raging winds were blowing beneath the clouds. We'll need to use a crosswind launch. Of course, when a strong wind blows from the side, the glider will be blown with them, so we need to use a special technique for takeoff. We haven't practiced it much, but we should be okay.
見て、夜が明けてきた。
Although there certainly are some clouds, the eastern sky became dimly bright. Also, the conditions of the sky became
あ
clear.
そこにある雲。
Dawn hadn't broken yet, and the sky was still. What in the world is going on in this picture? That is a bright-ass sunrise. dawn hadn't broken yet and the sky was still gloomy, but we could see the outline of the clouds. These clouds could be called morning glory and were fine, delicate, and looked like they could disappear any minute.
小鳥発行準備ラジャー
Gotcha. Everyone quickly got into position. Hamane and I got into our seats in the cockpit. Okay, I'll use full rudder from the start. Push down the rudder pedal even though we're not moving yet. If we were hit with a crosswind during takeoff, the glider's nose will face into the wind. This is called the weather vane effect. By turning the rudder in the opposite direction, we can reduce the weather vane effect. However, because the rudder has almost no effect until we pick up speed, we need to push the rudder pedal before launch and gradually release it as we accelerate. This is the first time we've taken off in such strong winds. This kind of feels like a rehearsal, but we have to do it. Still down there, launch? Yeah, it came to let us know that there were no obstructions on the runway. Then, moving around to the side of the glider, she lifts up the left wing a little higher than usual. The wind is blowing from the front right direction. If the wings are horizontal during takeoff, the wind from this side will go under the right wing, messing up the balance. And that's why I need to launch with the right wing a little lower and stop the crosswind from going under it. To maintain the bank angle at which Ageha is tilting it, I move the yoke to the right to operate the right aileron. Launch preparations complete. Here we go. Hamane? Hamane replied nervously. I give the thumbs up signal to Ageha outside.
発行準備完了小鳥上げて
Drink break. Gotta dehydrate fast. Is that creaking good? The moment Ageha gave the signal, the winch started moving as if it couldn't wait. This music... This sounds like something I'd hear in, like, Mega Man. The glider steadily accelerates. I pull back on the yoke.
頼んだわよ葵
Leave behind Ageha, who was holding up the wing and running with us. The glider floated into the air. The glider wobbled like crazy when the crosswind hits it. We're okay, we leveled out.
なんとか無事だ
As we accelerate, the ailerons start working and we're able to maintain the bank according to the crosswind. Tilting the rudder in the direction of the incoming wind, the glider steadily rises into the sky. Our speed is really fast, we're climbing much more quickly than usual. Even if it looks like we're flying at the same speed, if the headwind is strong, the speed of the wind hitting the glider, in other words, the airspeed is different. When the airspeed is high, lift increases, which causes the aircraft to rise. Today, the wind is strong. The power of the winch pulling us fights against the power of the main wings lifting us up, causing the glider to shake, releasing. Just before passing over Kotoi's head, who is operating the winch, I release the tow rope. Freed from the force that was holding us down, the glider was suddenly thrown up in the air. Immediately turn around to check that the tow rope has been released.
離陸は成功だ
Okay, I checked the altitude on the altimeter? Altimeter? I don't know how to pronounce that. We're currently 300 meters above the ground, then I looked up to the sky above. Outside the dome-shaped canopy, all I could see was sky. The sky changing from night to morning. Indigo, orange, and pale yellow, the morning sun paints a complex gradient as far as the eye can see. And there in the middle, a straight line of clouds stretched out. Amazing. I felt like I was being sucked into it as I stared at the spectacle. These two again.
本当だなんだろう不思議な雲だねまるで誰かが筆で描いたみたいだとしたら達筆ではないわねそんなことないよすごく綺麗だと思うなお上手 相変わらず何でも褒めるわねと。ねえ姉さん、あれ何か飛んでる？あれもしかして。
I'm gonna sneeze.
この前ここで見たグライダ
おい。
ー。何してるのかしら、こんな朝早くから。飛んでるじゃないかな。それは見ればわかるわよ。そうじゃなくって、じゃああそこ行こうとしてるんじゃないかな。あそこ？ほら、あの雲のところ。
Grab my knuckles.
すごく綺麗。不思議ね。どうしてあんなものができるのかしら。ほんと奇跡みたい。でもあの写真のとはちょっと違うない？これからもっと大きくなるのかしら。さあ、葵くんたちは今どこ？ちょっと待って、双眼鏡で見てみる。あ、いた。どこ？ほら、湖の上、今キラって光った。
Clutching the yoke, I somehow managed to maintain our position. The airflow is getting really rough. It's taking everything I've got just to keep our position. Days where the airflow is stable, I only need to hold the yoke lightly. However, in these rough skies, the glider is shaking all the time, and we don't know when we'll be hit with sudden winds. I need all my concentration as the glider takes the wind.
大丈夫か、葵くん。
I'm fine. More importantly, can you search for some thermals, Amane?
分かった。
Amane looks outside the canopy to search for places where thermals may occur. Clouds are the markers used for finding thermals. Clouds are formed when the warm upward shafts are cooled in the sky. Therefore, thermals are usually below them. As I watch the variometer, I fly based on guesswork. The variometer is one of the instruments in the glider and tells us whether it is rising or descending based on atmospheric pressure. If there is a sudden change in the variometer, it's possible that we've entered a thermal without realizing. There's no reaction, huh? The reaction from the variometer was slow and the glider was gradually descending.
あった、雲だ。
I'm gonna go from the front seat. Where?
4時の方角。
Roger. Pull the yoke to the right and push the rudder pedals and the glider turns. The rudder feels heavy. When the ailerons or the rudder takes strong winds, become heavier, but that means that their effect is stronger. Is that it? In my field of vision, I can see the small cloud Amane has found. It was a small, fine, elongated cloud. Please let this work. I feel like I'm praying as I fly under the cloud. We continue for a while and we don't seem to be hitting any thermals. After all, we can't see them, so we don't really know if they're there or not. Where is it? I go to turn so we can head towards another area then. Gah. Suddenly the left wing lifts up, tilting the aircraft.
葵くん、今の。
Yeah, I know. This wasn't a feeling being shaken by a crosswind. Rising thermal grazed the wings. Quickly turn the rudder to the left. The variometer reacts, the glider was rising. We've entered a thermal. To confirm that, I continue to turn the glider. Thermals extend upwards through the atmosphere like a pillar. In most cases, the strongest lift is in the center, known as the core. Normally, it gradually gets weaker the further you go towards the outside. That's why, if you want to climb higher, you have to get as close to the core of the thermals as possible. I turned the glider to search for the core. The variometer tells us we're rising. We're getting closer and closer to the core.
コアに入ったみたいだ。
As Amane, she looked at the instruments. Try to keep the glider circling in the same area and attempt to rise in the core of the thermal. Alright, we're climbing. Through the seat, I felt the glider was rising. It's jokingly called the ass meter, but You can feel all sorts of G-forces through the seat, and it's one of the sensations that are important for piloting a glider. It's because the thing that informs you of the glider's reactions at quickest is not the instruments, it's the seat that is in direct contact with your body. While getting a positive response and not wanting to lose it, I pay close attention while operating the controls.
上昇してる。うまくサーマルに乗れたみたいね。葵くん、葵くん。葵くんは今手が離せない。あまねちゃん、うまくいってるみたいね。ああ、現在サーマルに乗って上昇中。高度500メートルに到達。
Oh, that's it?
おっしゃー。気流が荒れてるみたいですけど、上空はどうですか？かなり荒れているが、でも大丈夫だ。葵くんが頑張ってくれてる。なんとか順調みたいね。そのまま雲の上まで行っちゃって。そうしたいのは山々だが。どうかしたんですか？もう少し上昇したらこのサーマルから離れる。
Well, go to the next one.
どうして？リフトが弱くて上昇速度が遅い。これじゃ間に合わない。
Yeah, we won't be able to rise any higher here. The G-forces that felt so strong at first are now getting weaker. We'd risen to a certain extent, but we were now just maintaining the current altitude. If we stay here like this, the thermal might grow and we might be able to gain stronger lift. If we think about the time, it's quite likely that will happen, just because thermals get bigger as the sunlight hits the Earth, which heats quicker than the air, and with this level of heat, the air close to the ground warms up, causing thermals to occur. Since last night was so cool, when the morning sun hits the Earth, more and more strong thermals will start rising, but we don't have time for that. If we wait a little longer for the sun to come up completely, the morning glory will disappear. We're getting out of this thermal. As we look up to the morning glory in the distance, we flew out of the thermal.
だいぶ流されているな。
Thermals are often thought to extend straight up like a pillar through the air, but actually they don't go straight up. In the same way that smoke is blown by the winds, thermals twist when hit by wind from the side. While we were climbing in the thermal that was leaning to one side because of the wind, we moved further away from the morning glory. Morning glory doesn't just stay in one place. It is rotating as it rolls, moving across the lake. If it gets too far away, then we'll have no means of catching up with it other than fall in to increase our propulsion, which makes things difficult. Increasing speed. I push the yoke forward, pointing the nose downwards. While sliding down the air, the glider accelerates. Whenever the nose is pointing downwards, the ground always comes into view. Amine, who is scared of heights, stifles her screams. Amine will be okay, the glider will not fall, I'll make sure of that.
落ちてる。嘘、そんなことないよ。ちゃんと飛んでる。
It's just doing a dive.
でもまた高度が下がってるわ。サーマルを出たのね。この状況なら賢明な判断かも。サーマル？
Samaru?
ねえ、サーマルって何？なんでもないわ。でもこのままじゃ落ちる一方よ。次のサーマルを早く見つけないと。
You caught up with it?
けど高度もだいぶロスしたぞ。
Well, just pull up. To get back the altitude that we lost, we search for the next thermal. In theory, they occur more easily above ground that looks like soil or wide areas of asphalt, like parking lots.
あそこはどうだ？
Amine pointed towards the runway from which we had taken off, and it was a wide area of soil in the sunlight. It certainly met the conditions needed for thermals to be made easily. Alright.
あれ？なんか戻ってきたよ。まさかトラブル？
Trouble?
葵くん、葵くん、どうしたの？何があったの？
Don't panic, we're just searching for thermals.
トラブルじゃないのね。
That's right.
けどこの時間帯じゃサーマルを見つけるのも大変よね。ちょうどいい場所にこれから発達しそうな雲でもあればいいんだけど。他に何か目印はないの？あとは実際に飛んでみるしか。もう少しなのに。双眼鏡貸して。何かないか探してみる。
We did get some lift above the runway after all, but it was weak. It wasn't enough to raise the heavy double-seater glider. It must be because the ground hasn't warmed up enough to create strong thermals. Damn it, aren't there any around here? In the meantime, the glider is gradually descending. Okay. Then the wind came, perhaps because of the influence of the morning glory, the airflow was being disturbed. The glider wobbles as it is hit by the strong winds, temporarily reducing lift and causing a drop in altitude. I start to feel impatient. Should we have stayed over there after all?
でもそれだと。
Cloud from before was moving even further away from the direction we want to head in. Even if we can rise to the altitude we need, it would be too late. How much time has passed since we took off? Meanwhile, the sky has become brighter and has changed from the morning glow to light blue.
届かないんだろうか。
Oh, I didn't think there was actually going to be a CG. I thought I was just going to use the cloud one. Emily mumbled to herself, looking up the passage of clouds, stretching across the sky. There it is, just singular cloud. I guess it is kind of a singular cloud since we saw it before. That's not true, it's right in front of us. We'll do something about it. Company and yeah, we're also looking for clouds from the ground. We hadn't reached the time limit yet.
やっぱりだいぶ高度を下げてサーマルを見つけられないのね。どうしよう。このままじゃあの綺麗な雲に届かないよ。頑張っても上昇気流が吹かないんじゃどうしようもないわね。トンビが飛んでるわ。グライダーも鳥さんみたいに羽をバサバサやって飛べればいいのにな。だからエンジンを乗せればいいのにって。あら？
Well, if they could make an engine, that would be a lot easier.
どうしたのヨルちゃん。こっちへ来るみたい。あ、本当だ。こっちに来る。頑張れ変ね。こっちの空にもそれらしい雲なんてないのに。超頑張って。
You're right, Kotobi.
間違いない。双眼鏡じゃ小さくしか見えなかったけど。
In response to Kotobi's transmission, we head across the lake towards Windmill Hill. There should be some thermals over there. There aren't any clouds that seem to indicate thermals.
サーマルがあるからといって必ずしも雲が作られるわけじゃない。それに多分丘が斜面になっているせいだと思う。
Do you mean that thermals occur more easily above slopes?
太陽光は地表に対して斜めに降り注いでいるだろう。けど斜面になっていればその光を正面から受けられる。その分エネルギーが集中して温まりやすいんだ。
It's true, the sloping surface of the hill that we're heading towards is shining from being in the direct light of the morning sun. Whoa, okay. How was it, Kotobi?
いたいた、見つけた。さっきよりかなり高くまで上がってる。間違いない。トンビよ。
I can't confirm that from where we are right now, but it seems that a kite is flying above the hill. Kites are birds that glide to high altitudes using upward drafts. In other words, there's a thermal over there. However, it doesn't necessarily mean there's enough lift to raise a heavy double-seater glider. But there's nothing else left for us to try. I didn't think of anything other than aiming for that point. Eventually, the glider crossed the lake and we approached the air above Windmill Hill. Yeah, suddenly we were shaken vertically. The variometer told us the glider had dropped sharply. Been caught in a downward draft? I panicked in the next moment. We felt a huge impact.
上がってる。
Suddenly it felt like we were being pushed from below and the glider steadily floated upwards. Then a little later the variometer informed us that we were rising. We had ridden the thermal. That would be bumpy though, it pushes you down then rapidly throws you up. It's pretty strong, we can do this on it.
上がってる。ほら見てアゲハ。ほんとだ。すごい。もうあんな高さまで。ねあったでしょ。
Yeah, way to go, Kotori.
褒められちゃった。上まで上がれそうなの？
I got pretty strong lift, I think they can make it.
天音先輩のこと頼んだわよ。
Leave it to me.
よーし行ってこい。あの雲の向こうまで。
Yeah, on the winds that you guys made.
すごい。こんなに高くまで。風に乗ってるだけなのにどうしてあんなに高く飛べるの？理屈なら説明できるけど聞きたい？
I don't, we've already heard it.
いい。聞いてもわからないし、それにあんなの理屈で説明できるわけないと思う。理屈がないとあんな大きなもの飛べないわよ。すごいよ。すごい。
Before we knew it, the powerful thermals occurring above Windmill Hill had lifted us high up in the sky. We were getting closer and closer to the morning glory. We're getting closer, Amine. How high are you? Clouds that from below looked small and intermittent were actually pretty big when we got close to them. I wonder how wide they are. At the very least, they would be comfortable to be able to cover the width of this glider. They stretched out to and around the distance needed to go diagonally across the lake.
少し遠いな。
It's okay, if we can keep going above the clouds, it should be easy to pass across them. The thermal that we were riding was pretty powerful. I may just explain the slope of the hills hit directly by the sunlight, so it heats up quickly. In other words, that means that the difference in temperature is bigger compared to the surrounding area. If there is no difference in temperature, the thermals will not be created, and if the difference is big, then strong thermals will be made. The upward draft that Kotori had found for us feels strong enough to take us all the way to the horizon. While this is happening, the sun is rising and the air temperature is increasing. Morning glory occurs for about 2 hours from the beginning of dawn. Come on. I'm getting impatient. However, if we try too hard, we'll lose balance and we might lose altitude. While checking the rate of ascent on the variometer, I turn the glider to aim for the core of the thermal, the most effective part. Like, how high are you? I want to know just how high up you are, eventually. The glider that Amine and I were riding reached the altitude for the morning glory that we were aiming for. Then we had soon risen above that and reached the position where we could view it from above. Look at that lens flare. Yeah, see, that is kind of like a single cloud. Look on it. I knew she'd been looking at it, but I said it anyway. It's because I was so moved. Is there anyone who wouldn't be moved to see a spectacle like this? With the bluish purple sky in the background, the passage of clouds shone as we were bathed in the pale pink sunlight. Words like beautiful wouldn't express it at all. The word that came to mind was divine. My trembling hands gripped me open to gain altitude to allow us to stay above the clouds. I turned to the thermal. I got to the front seat and I saw Amine from the side. Her eyes were open wide like a little kid's as she looked at the passage of clouds stretching across the sky.
いつから私に見せたがっていた景色。私を連れて行こうとしていた場所。
So I'll just use this one. This one has more room for the text. Amine, can you get the camera?
ああ、そうだった。
Before we took off again, I had given her a digital camera. Actually, I like this one more. She's not blushing in this one for no reason. She has to take a picture if we were able to fly above the morning glory. Actually, she is still blushing. This was the perfect viewpoint, looking across the clouds.
撮ったぞ。
What in the world is that? Stupid glitches. Alright, let's go to that place. Amane nods, preparing herself. We didn't come here to look at the clouds, we came to pass across them. Once we had gained enough altitude, I tilted the yoke and turned the glider, and now it's time for us to go. The airflow here was calm, and we could fly without being shaken by crosswinds. In the upper parts of the sky, there were hardly any clouds, and the clear light blue gradients spread out in all directions. While paying attention to our rate of descent, we travel along the space of crystal clear light. We're approaching the passage of light. A rolling airflow occurs around the clouds, and if we ride that, we can pass along the passage of clouds as far as we want. You okay down there, Lumps? Yep. Oh, we finally arrived. Morning glory was right there at our fingertips. And as I thought that... Stall. Sudden airflow change. Stall. All of a sudden, it happened. As our view swung around, the divine road of cloud that should have been there in front of us in the space of a moment was getting further away. We suddenly lost lift, and then a few moments later realized the gliders rapidly descending. He quickly pulled at the yoke, but there was no response. The field of vision span around, and we couldn't even figure out whether we were facing up or down. What is this? What's going on? Is this a stall? However, there were no signs that was going to happen. It was just like there was no air and we had lost all our lift. We're falling.
どうしたの？なんかあった？落ちてる？嘘！ちょっと双眼鏡貸して。やばい！どうしちゃったの？葵くん、葵くん、応答して！葵くん！
Push the nose down. Put the nose down, gain a little speed, and then pull up. I can't deal with that right now. The surface of the lake appeared from the other side of the canopy. We're falling with nose pointing straight down. Oh, well, then just pull up. Now level it out. In the heat of the moment, I didn't know which controls I used. Anyway, I tried to lift the nose up and stabilize the wings. Don't pull up too hard. Ugh. A shock ran through me that felt like the fuselage might be crushed. Yeah, if you pull up too strong, like too hard, when you're going really fast, the wings can actually just snap right off. To us, the pilots, the vibrations passed through our bodies, and for a moment I thought that we had crashed. Looks like it. The nose and wings leveled out, and the glider had gained lift and was floating. We were 200 meters from the surface of the water. In a moment, we had fallen almost 800 meters. If it was a few seconds later, it would have been too late. My whole body trembled with fear and relief. You alright, Amane? Her shoulders were shaking, but her reply was okay. What the hell happened just now? There were no signs the airflow had become separated from the main wings, in other words, a stall. It's often said that it can occur without warning before it to occur somewhere that had such a stable airflow. You mean just now? If that were true, it was pretty strong. Do things like this really happen? Down the burst. Downbursts are powerful downward drafts. If a downburst, a giant mass of air, falls to Earth, it is powerful enough to cause severe damage. If we were swallowed by something like that, we wouldn't stand a chance. The place where we were was in the vicinity of the center of the lake, and, like Amane was saying, we were so distracted by the morning glory that we lost sight of our own position. Because of the lake, the air cools, and it's possible that a strong downwards draft would be created. If the air itself falls down, a glider, which floats using the power of the air, would have no choice but to be taken down with it. That might be why we lost lift and fell suddenly without any warning signs. We heard Kotori's tearful voice over the radio. We're okay, somehow we managed to level it out.
体何があったの？
We don't know. Amane said that we might have been caught in a strong downward draft. A little more and we would have been upside down the lake.
こら、小鳥の心臓が止まっちゃうから。
A little later, you would have been like 500 pieces in the lake if you were diving from a kilometer up. Sorry, but we're alright now.
今の何が起こったの？さあ、わからない。故障したのか。あれでも、ええ、なんとか落ちる前に立て直したようね。危なかったわ。もう少し遅れたら死んでたかも。やっぱり人が空を飛ぶのって危ないことだよね。そうね。翼を持たない人間が空に憧れるのは勇気がいるし危険なこと。姉さん
The morning glory. I quickly looked above. The place where we were just now was much further away. It's dazzling to think that we were so high up. Let's go up one more time.
無理だ葵くん、もう間に合わない。
Really? We won't know unless we try. As I shouted, I looked at the sky. At some point, dawn sky had disappeared, and the sky was now filled with clear blue color. Exposed to the sunlight, the passage of clouds was nothing like it was at the beginning, and it was thinning out and gradually disappearing. I turned the glider towards Windmill Hill. If we have the powerful thermal from before, we might be able to make it. I will take out Amane there.
いいんだもう。
But
あそこへ行くことはできなかったけど、イスカが見せたかった景色をほんの少し見ることができた。それで十分だよ。
Amane looked through the canopy at the clouds above.
これでさよならだ。
Amane's whisper, along with the passage of clouds, faded away in the sky. Well, I think that's a pretty nice place to end it. So, thank you for watching, and goodbye.